Hello everyone, my name is Oksana. It's Road to Edoverse, weekly Edoverse Insider the 40th. We deliver the news about the creation of our project Edoverse. And Tokugawa-san, could you please open the session as
Okay.
usual?
Thank you, Oksana. Hello, everybody. This is Eihiro Tokugawa. Now, okay, on the 40th, well, you call this in Japanese fushime. So it's like for every 10 sessions, it's supposed to be memorable. So this time, I would like to talk about there's a second episode of on the shogun himself. Okay. There are 15 shoguns in the from the Tokugawa family. But the first and the best known is Tokugawa Ieyasu, who was the founder of this so-called dynasty. But he was shogun for only 2 years. He wins in the Battle of Sekigahara and is appointed shogun by the emperor in 1603. And then 2 years later, he resigns. The reason for doing so is that he had to, you see, once you reach a certain stage in Japanese government, then ceremonies take up so much time. You see, he had to govern. And to govern effectively, he had to design a new system, a new government. So he retired from the shogun's post in 2 years after being in the office for 2 years. And then the next 10 years he spent away from Edo in Shizuoka, coming up with a lasting system of government in which he was apparently very successful. The second shogun was his son, Hidetada, and he served nearly 20 years. And then after that, the third, Iemitsu, fourth, Ietsuna, and the fifth, Tsunayoshi, they all served nearly 30 years. And then the sixth shogun, only 3 years. And after that, Tokugawa Ietsugu, the seventh, served another 3 years. Actually, he became shogun at age 5 or 6, and then he died at 8. So after that, it is Tokugawa Yoshimune. He is possibly the most famous after Ieyasu, especially after they had a TV drama with him as the lead character, although this was like a halfway fantasy. Anyway, so he served another 30 years, and with him in office, the shogunate changed considerably. Japan started to look more like a very modern state. And his son, Ieshige, although not physically robust, served for 15 years. And then his son, Ieharu, the 10th shogun, for another 30 years. And then the 11th shogun, Tokugawa Ienari, he served for 50 years, which is a record. And he served the longest. And also, it was under Tokugawa Ienari that Japan's trade balance, moved to the black. So we had become net exporters by then. And so under his rule, under his rule, Japan had become a very rich country, and most of what we recognize as Edo culture today come from his times. And then he died in 1837, although he retired shortly before that. So you see, and only 3 or 4 years later, there was the Opium War. So Britain, with a few steam-powered warships, beat the mighty Qing dynasty, and that marks the beginning of modern Asian history. And after that, the shoguns start to serve shorter. The 12th shogun, Tokugawa Ieyoshi, yes, he was 16 years. And then the 13th, Tokugawa Iesara, 4 years. The 14th, Tokugawa Iemochi, less than 8 years. And then the last shogun, Tokugawa Yoshinobu, for just 1 year. So from this, you can see that, for one thing, this is a case in Japanese politics. You have a long-serving leader, and then after that, for a while, you have short-serving ones. Unfortunately for my family, after we had a very long-serving shogun, it got shorter and shorter, and then our power disappeared. But anyway, you see, and it's so interesting that the last shogun, yes, actually served for 1 year only, but he was the center of Japanese politics for the 10 years preceding that. So he was, how should I say, a maverick figure, and because his mother was an imperial princess, he had the potential to change the system completely, although he was removed from power before he could make any meaningful change. But interestingly, all of the problems that Japan was facing by around 1860 had been resolved by the time the last shogun lost power. So we don't really know why the Meiji Restoration had to take place. But anyway, so this is the list of the shoguns. So on average, or the typical shogun would be serving about 30 years. And that was enough even in pre-industrial times to make meaningful change to the government in terms of governance. So they all had done some kind of work, some kind of contribution to Japanese history. Okay, and next time I would like to talk more about what it actually meant for these people to live as shogun. Okay, so thank you very much, Oksana. That will be enough for today.
Thank you very much, Tokugawa-san. And JJ, could you please join us?
Hello, Oksana. Thank you. Hello, everybody. It's so interesting to hear the story of Shogun from Iehiro-san. It's so amazing. Because I'm keen on creating the regulation and principles in gaming field. So we need to implement that ranking system as well. Not ranking system, Shogun system as well. And then the last Shogun lasts for just 1 year, right? So shorter, next longer. So Edoverse is going to be longer, definitely. I'm confident that. But so interesting story. So by the way, our listing team did great works. And then we listed Zenny on another exchange. The name is BKEX. The ranking is supposed to be around 20s to 21s in the global exchange. That's really nice news. And then just keep an eye on the price moving as well. So market cap is supposed to be like 50 million, 40 million, 60 million, around that. So that's the average price. If let's say like if you have a chance to see the price is like 20 million or 30 million, just buy. I think it's a good time to buy. But anyway, listing strategy is going to be working. And then also, as you can see, the crypto market is still shaking. And then I think some of the huge centralized exchange, so-called SEX, is going to be maybe troublesome, I guess, because they deal with FTT. And currently, the market cap of FTT is going to be like, 1/10. I mean, 10%. 90% dropped by the market. So if they use FTT as a kind of leverage base or leverage function, then definitely SEX is going to be damaged. So we have to carefully check whether this exchange is fine or not. And then if there's no problem of the exchange, we can proceed our listing process as well. But anyway, just keep an eye on the market condition and then be careful to secure your asset. Please don't put your asset into SEX exchange as just use it when you trade or when you exchange, and then just withdraw it immediately. That's I think the most important thing to survive in Web3. And then in terms of gaming field, I think we can show the great progress by the end of this year. And then I think all of you guys can experience in our space with certain visual like Edo Castle and some portion of Edo Downtown, and then maybe some of the samples of Daimyo Mansion. I think definitely it's going to be done by this year end. And then next year, by quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, we can put some kind of gaming function in our space, so that maybe you can, if you have a role or if you have an avatar, or even if you don't have anything, you can jump into our space and experience some kind of gamify function, and then gaming field as well. So I think at the very beginning point, the player should start from the Ronin. Ronin has no role in Edo era, and Ronin is going to be samurai and daimyo, and we're going to give you some certain roles and certain principles. So keep an eye on our activities. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, JJ, and thank you for the good advice regarding investments. And Mitsushi-san, Mitsushi, could you please join us?
Okay, thanks, Oksana. So I see currently the influence of Twitter in crypto industry has been increasing exorbitantly. For example, CZ announced in Twitter that he would sell out FTT over several months, which caused a lot of feedback and backlash. I think that was partially one of the direct reasons why FTT crisis happened in crypto industry. Elon Musk completed acquisition of Twitter. I think he is he's supporting crypto assets in general. So I think a lot of things related to cryptocurrency would be adopted in Twitter. That's my personal interpretation. So I think it's very important to understand what will happen in Twitter going forward. For example, like a transaction of NFT could be available in Twitter. That's one example, one interpretation. For example, a transaction via cryptocurrency in Twitter could be available in the near future. I think those kind of things would happen. For example, connectivity between Metaverse services and Twitter could be available. Maybe a lot of people will use avatars or NFT as their icons in Twitters. So I'm sure that a lot of things related to cryptocurrency or crypto assets updates will happen in Twitter after Elon Musk completed acquisition in Twitter. So I think it's very important for users as well to gain literacy with regards to usage of Twitter. I think a lot of financial institutions encountered a lot of troubles in the past, but it's very new that Twitter directly caused crisis with regards to FTT versus Binance. I think it's very scary, but I think it's possible for us to take advantage of Twitter and other social media platform. For me, Discord and Telegram are more a niche social media platform. Telegram are very specific for cryptocurrency traders, and Discord are more specific for play to earn and gamify users or game-related users. But Twitter Twitter sort of captured a wider range of audience, even non-crypto users, pay attention to news feed and what's going on in Twitter. So as an Edoverse project, we are currently using Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, and user demographics are a little bit different. But in order to capture a wider range of audience, including non-metaverse users and non-crypto users, for example, those who just love Edo Period, those who love just Tokugawa era, those who love like Japanese cultures, but do not use cryptocurrencies. In order to capture those users, I think Twitter is one of the very effective tools. And also we need to analyze the current updates on Twitter. I think Elon Musk enforced a lot of new rules and new working style and new employment rules and so on, and new employment culture and so on. I'm sure that a lot of new engineer team will create a lot of new functions with regard to metaverse and cryptocurrencies and NFT. So we need to sort of catch up with those kinds of updates by just monitoring Twitter news function. That's what I'm doing these days. I mean, if there's any important updates, I'd like to sort of utilize it for good purposes. So I'm, talking to, Iwasaki-kun and so on, and Tai-san and so on to, about the current updates in Twitter and other social media. And once Twitter launches new functions, I don't know what new functions will be, other social media platforms will also consider developing new functions as well, because there's also always competition among a lot of different social medias. And, the number of users is a sort of zero-sum game. People, the limited number of users are using limited time for social media platform. So once a new function is developed, that means there is a signal that other social media competitors will develop new functions as well. So I think going forward, that sort of new function battle will also be accelerated and very competitive in the future. So that's why, digital native age, we need to sort of always have an eye on updates in social media. That's, I think, it's the most important news for cryptocurrency these days, or this week. That's all from me. So just let's discuss on this issue even more. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mitsushi. And Dominique, could you please sum up today's session?
Okay, last week, we finally announced that partnership with the Nowdo Corporation, Nowdo Company Limited, and also the Edo All United. And that was led by a professional soccer player. Now it's still just in the present. Yeah, he's a professional soccer player, Mr. Keisuke Honda. his idea was very, very interesting for me. That we just shared idea about the soccer stadium in Tokyo, in the central area of Tokyo. That we don't have any big World Cup soccer stadium yet. So if we could just construct the soccer stadium in the center of Japan, the center of Tokyo, it's going to be very excited in the future that every world people coming to Tokyo for the World Cup level of the soccer, the soccer. And then we decided that fish market in Tokyo is called the Tsukiji fish market. That was actually moved to Toyosu. That space was used for the other purpose now after Olympics. But we thought that should be the best place to set up a soccer stadium. And then Edo United will be the home team of Edoverse, that Tsukiji soccer stadium. And that'll be very exciting. And then we're gonna have some promotions, and also we may have some soccer game. And then people just may ask us that why soccer stadium, why soccer in Edos? Because now the concept of the Edoverse is that what if we have a Edo city in this modern world? That means that after the period, that's around more than 100 years later. Of course, Japan, Edo period, even after Edo period, there was closed, the country was closed, but it may just connect with the world because the recent technological innovations. And then people know that the soccer game and also soccer World Cup, and then Japan will be actually, one of the teams just among the soccer, world soccer. So in this case, in Edo City, I don't think any strange things that even we have a soccer stadium in Edoverse. So we have a sumo place in Ryogoku areas, and also a soccer stadium in Tsukiji. And then maybe I think we may have something like baseball play, some stadium in the futures. Yeah, and also I think that we have to think about the animals like horses, because we have horse races. But of course, in the Edo period, there is not much actually big activity on the horse racing side, because there was very peaceful nations after the battle period. But even just we can enjoy the horse racing even in the peace period, and we might think about in the horse too. And then we have a lot of projects, and then digital twin projects, and we are just talking to the companies that we have. We will announce that more concrete name of the companies in the futures. And then and also we are now working on a promotion of the land NFTs and also katana NFTs that will be sold on December 12th. And then if the people, this time that the people has to register just on a white list, otherwise you cannot buy. So don't forget just registering your address in Edoverse whitelist, and then please just enjoy the land NFTs, because this land NFTs, you may see that even the daimyo kojis, you may see that the Tokugawa treasure, Tokugawa hidden treasures. So you may find already just deployed koban or maybe the other treasures. Yeah. So it's going to be very exciting. Yeah, if you find that there's some treasure just from your lands. So please just enjoy your shopping. And then also I think that the Tokugawa hidden treasure will be actually will be put in a nationwide in many places in Japan. So you can just physically travel to the local place in Japan that you might find that Tokugawa treasure. So and then you get some koban or other treasures in your wallets. So that's going to be, you can just enjoy it too very, very soon. And then we are now looking forward to seeing our Shinsengubi avatar, but it doesn't just come up yet, and then it's going to be very, very soon. So, and then we are now positively finding people recruiting just for the Edoverse Company Limited in Japan. That we need people, we need the human resources. If you want to just join the Edoverse project, so engineers, marketers, and or maybe the event promoters and the advertisement PR managers, and also designers, the artists. Anybody just who want to just enjoy, join Edoverse project, please come over, and then please just raise the hands there that we can talk. And then, yeah, I'm waiting. Thank you.
Please be careful. I think like next day you will have the crowd of people in front of the office.
Yeah, actually. Yeah. We don't have many interviews anyway. Yeah.
Oh, really? Very busy. I see. Okay. Thank you very much, Dominique. And thank you, everybody, for delivering the news and everybody for listening. And we will meet next week. Goodbye.